with the fastest hour in radio. It's Ron and Fez. John Kerry debuted his new campaign plane yesterday, a Boeing 757-200. Now he could quit taking chartered flights and sharing a plane with Fleetwood Mac.
Well, I'm sure that's a pain in the ass.
Why doesn't he tell us stuff like, hey, I'm touring with Fleetwood Mac? Those are the kind of things I want to hear as a voter.
Clinton would have loved to have toured with Fleetwood Mac. Just being back there, hearing his favorite song while he's slamming them two at a time.
He gets off the plane with Stevie Nicks behind him. I think it looks good.
You know what? As a matter of fact, he should have called his book instead of My Life. It should have been called Rumors. And he could have just done that same thing where he's laying in the bed.
Now, John Kerry's calling this his freedom bird.
Yeah.
Because
it's the free bird. That's what you're flying around in. Wait till this thing comes out of the sky.
This plane, it's a little gaudy with its big John Kerry for president down the side.
I think he's got it pimped out. I got to tell you the truth, Fezzy. I wouldn't mind that being my plane. I would love to have just a gigantic plane that I just peeled cash off for.
I think he should have just made it look like a ketchup bottle with wings, just in honor of the wife. Now, he said yesterday, he goes, my hair can be used as a flotation device.
So you got a sense of humor. Not just a long face, but a sense of humor like your idol, Jay Leno.
And his head could be used as a tower, a radar tower. George McGovern is telling John Kerry not to delay accepting his nomination until after the convention. He says it sends the wrong message.
George McGovern should just say one thing. Hey, nice plane.
If I had had that in 72.
You know, here's the message I have. I got $500 million for nothing. If you had your own plane, would you think to yourself, and you got $500 million, now you're thinking to yourself, oh, I need to ruin it all by becoming president. Why not just cruise around in your plane with $500 million enjoying?
To one of your 5 houses?
Please. I'd have the thing loaded up like Hefner owned it. That would look like Air Hefner by the time I was done with it.
I think already it looks pretty much like the Austin Powers plane, where he's got the round revolving bed in it.
He's kind of our Austin Powers when you think about it. He's the American Austin Powers. He's not attractive, and yet for some reason the women love him.
And he dates international women.
Yeah.
You know, heiresses and princesses.
Yeah. Well, he's from Boston. What do you want him to do? Date a Kennedy? It's not easy. You want him to end up like Arnold?
Now, McGovern, is that someone you want to take campaign advice from?
He's a good man, Fezzy, whether you believe in his politics or not. And I think what he's saying is, why don't you be a straight-up guy? Why don't you be a straight-up guy?
I think with McGovern, what he said, at McGovern's convention, he ended up giving his acceptance speech at 2 a.m. because all of a sudden there was trouble on the convention floor, so nobody got to see it. And I think he knows that delaying it even a few hours is trouble, never mind a couple weeks. The White House has asked the press to be respectful of the Bush twins now that they're out of college.
What were they doing so disrespectful? There's a little grab-ass going on? That's wrong. I'm against that.
And they will be working on their father's campaign. So is that asking too much?
I think it's asking a little too much. It's one thing to say, leave my kids alone, they've got nothing to do with this. They come out on the campaign trail, that's a different story. They do a spread in Vogue, which they're planning. That's a different story. Now suddenly you're taking yourself from, I'm just a kid in school, I want to be left alone, and they have been, but now you're putting yourself out there. They're going to start going through their trash and talking to old boyfriends, and who wants that?
Well, anyone who's speaking for either campaign, you would think they have to be held accountable for what they're saying. You know, if someone went out there for John Kerry and said something just really crazy, the press would go after them and John Kerry for allowing someone to say it. So
right, then you step in, you become a public figure. Before, at this point, they were private. It wasn't their fault that their dad was president. Like when we were all kids, we can't help what our dad does. You can't suddenly go around picking on people because their dads are gangsters or whatever. The kid has nothing to do with it. But as soon as you join the family business and then also get in for a very nice spread in Vogue, then you're saying to yourself, you might as well put me on Entertainment Tonight.
What'll be interesting for me is to finally hear them talk. I don't think I've ever heard the Bush daughters speak. Kind of like Chelsea. I went 8 years without hearing Chelsea's voice whatsoever.
I don't know what to say to you when you say stuff like you in 8 weeks. I saw her last night on one of the entertainment programs. She showed up for that Day After Tomorrow movie, which, by the way, Fez, Actually opens the day after tomorrow. So this is really weird. She looked exactly like her mother now. She looks 100% like her mom, Chelsea Clinton.
Did she have the straight hair now?
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's trying to go for that look, and the ankles are going to end up getting bigger, and it's just all hell's going to break loose on that woman's body.
Why be mean? What is it about you that you feel like you're so attractive that you could be mean to others?
I'm just trying to give the facts here.
They're just human beings. None of these people are models that we're talking about. You're not supposed to sit around and worry about how big someone's ankles are.
But they're huge. Have you seen them?
I see your ankles right here. They look like redwoods. Like 2 tree stumps stuffed in some sneakers. That's nothing. That's no way to look.
That's just mean. Sniper John Allen Muhammad, he's going to face another death penalty trial in Fairfax County, this one for the murder of Linda Franklin outside of Home Depot. Muhammad's going to use the same defense team that he did in his previous trial. So, good idea for Muhammad using that same defense team?
Why not, Fezzy? Why change the horse midstream? Jesus couldn't get him off for this.
At this point, you'd think, I think they left it all out on the field. I don't know if they're going to have anything new. What's the worst that can happen? He's going to die twice? There's nothing he can do about this. All he's got to do is just keep running around and doing this. I'm not going to say to myself, I got death last time. If you can get me life on this one, it would really help me out a lot. So this is the insurance policy trial, they're calling it. If somehow the last trial gets appealed, they're going to have a conviction here.
They may even do it a couple times. They could go do it as many times as they want to.
The price of gas has jumped up 14 cents in 2 weeks.
I'm keeping just what I did is I emptied out my pool and I've just filled it up with gas. That way I figure if this thing keeps going up, I'm going to be fine.
The pool next to the grill?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that doesn't seem safe.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I feel like I've been judged 15 times during this show. I keep gas in a pool. Big deal. It's not like it's against the law.
Now gas up an average...
It's not against God's law. I'll say that much.
An average of $2.07 a gallon across the country. When are people going to start to freak about this? You would think the $2 limit would have been something.
Nobody seems to be bothered much.
No, and there's like very few people I think that are changing any of their summer plans, like to go driving anywhere.
Why would you? Over a penny a day? No, I'm not gonna stay home for a penny.
See, it's more people get more upset if they have to get in gas lines. Not so much with the price, but if there's a gas shortage and they have to wait for it, that's when people tend to get upset.
My advice is fill up your pool. It's worked for me, and I think it could work for you.
Wow, that's a lot of gas, because that's a good-sized pool.
Thank you. Olympic size. It's an Olympic-sized pool, and I got an Olympic-sized SUV. That's my thing.
I'm just afraid I'm going to get pushed in.
Why come over? No one's asked you to come over.
I got to eat. An Argentine bus driver must watch surgery being performed on a traffic accident victim as part of his punishment for striking and killing an 11-year-old boy.
Who comes up with this kind of stuff? King Solomon? Who's coming up with this kind of wisdom?
I'm sure.
Why not make him actually do the surgery? Look, you drive so bad, now we're going to have you do surgery, you maniac.
It's nice to see this is country to country because of that judge in Georgia a couple of weeks ago who said, all right, you've been here convicted on drug charges again. You have to keep a coffin in your living room. I swear, some of these judges just end up on the bench too long.
They're trying to wake these people up. Sometimes you got to put their underpants on their head and make them go to school. All right? You're going to wet the bed? Put your underpants on your head, because there's no good on your bottom.
Well, it just doesn't seem to make sense sometimes.
Well, they're trying to wake people up and say, look, here's what happens. You want to drink and drive. When you're sober, I want you to see what happens to your victims. I want you to go in there as a person and have something happen that you have to face for once in your stupid Argentinian life.
Physicians' neckties may harbor bacteria, and one study thinks it would be a good idea to lose the tie altogether.
That'll never go over in this country. Nobody wants to see their doctor come in a T-shirt. Hi, how are you? Most of the time you're going to go, oh, he's got a tie on, he's a serious person. So the bacteria sticks to their neckties.
Yeah, and that thing's just being dragged around.
They're touching their hands and stuff, and they adjust their tie. They adjust their tie, and they're filling that full of some kind of a typhoid Mary. We ought to do some kind of a fear factor, lick the doctor's necktie.
Oh, you know what? I bet their coats are the same way, too. Now they just seem... Now doctors, finding out about the necktie, doctors just seem all disgusting to me.
Well, what happens when you show up at a hospital? There's nothing but for dying people and illness there, and you feel bad, you go to Disease Central. When you feel your worst, yeah, I've got such a high fever, I've really been down. Take me where people have polio. Take me right in there and see if that doesn't latch on to me. It's the stupidest idea ever. Let's take the 6 people, keep them spread out. I like to keep them 5-10 miles apart from each other.
What I'd like to see is maybe the doctors go for that Cuban barber shirt look. You know, ditch the ties altogether. Something a little bit more casual and friendly. And it is summertime, too, so it'll be cool.
Again, at the same time, is that the guy that you want to feel like you're safe with? A guy in a big Cuban barber shirt. Because you put it on, you're going to think to yourself, I got an extra 10 pounds to gain. What do I care? That's the problem with those Cuban barber shirts.
At least we know the doctor's not tucking anything into his pants if he wears those.
Who knows what he's doing? He could pick his nose. And the next thing he's doing is checking your tongue. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Ron and Fez.